absolute value equations. So before I go over this example, I just want to look at a quicker example. Let's say we have the equation absolute value of x is equal to 7. So what a lot of times people will think about with absolute value is that whatever's in the absolute value always ends up being positive, which is somewhat true. If we had absolute value for 3, it's positive 3 as the result. If we had absolute value of negative 3, it's also positive 3. So that does happen with absolute value. What's actually happening is that the definition of absolute value is that it's the distance from 0. So if you think about a number line, 3 is 3 units from 0, and negative 3 is also 3 units from 0. So that's why it ends up with a result of positive 3. But if we look at an equation, like absolute value of x is equal to 7, well, one solution will be 7, because we could plug in positive 7 and it would be true. And another solution would be negative 7, because the absolute value of negative 7 is also 7. So with absolute value equations, you want to think about the fact that we will get two solutions. And the two solutions really come from the fact that you could plug in the positive or the negative result, and because it's inside an absolute value, it would still be a true statement. But now I want to go ahead and actually look at the original equation. To solve an absolute value equation, you want to start by isolating the absolute value. So this is the piece inside the absolute value, so I want to get it completely by itself. So to do that, I'm going to add 8 on both sides. That will give us the absolute value of 3x plus 1 is equal to 13. So what happens here is that what's inside the absolute value, that whole thing could equal 13 and it would be true, or that whole thing could equal negative 13, and based on the property of absolute value, it would also be true. So to solve it, we can really set up two separate equations and then solve it like a standard equation. So one equation is 3x plus 1 equals 13, and the other one is 3x plus 1 is equal to negative 13. So the steps to solve is going to be identical for each one. So I can start by subtracting 1 on both sides. And for that first equation, we get 3x is equal to 12, and then divide both sides by 3. That leaves us with x is equal to 4. And then same steps for that second equation, subtract 1 from both sides. We get 3x is equal to negative 14. Divide both sides by 3. And we have x is equal to negative 14 thirds. So both are solutions to our original equation.